Like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our Indy. This is Captain April, and these are the days of our Indy.
And again, another one, not specifically about Indy per se, but it's part of the growing backlash against this idiotic ideology. It's in the UK Supreme Court. Let's see. Let me get down here so clear the bottom. Let's get to the top. Okay, here. Yes, landmark ruling, really not legal definition of woman. It's just what it has to go to the UK, and it's coming to the US Supreme Court, But, we kind of, they look at what's going on around the world and say, yeah, maybe we ought to do something here. Supreme Court of the United Kingdom, 5 judges on this one, unanimously ruled Wednesday that a woman from someone born biologically is someone born biologically female, a move that now excludes transgender women from the definition of a woman. Trans women can be excluded from some single-sex spaces and groups under the UK Equality Act. The 5 judges of the top courts ruled these spaces and groups include changing rooms, homeless shelters, swimming areas, and medical or counseling services provided only to women. Ruling means that even a transgender person with a certificate that recognizes them as female should not be considered a woman for equality purposes. But Justice Patrick Hodge said in his ruling does not remove protection from trans people who are protected from discrimination on the grounds of gender reassignment. Interpreting sex as certificated would cut across the definitions of man and woman and thus the protected characteristic of sex in an incoherent way. It would create heterogeneous groupings. That was just people. That sign says it right there. Can't say it out loud, or they'll probably do something stupid. Everyone knows what sex is and you can't change it, said Susan Smith, co-director of For Women Scotland, which brought the case. It's common sense, basic common sense, and the fact that we have been down a rabbit hole where people have tried to deny science and deny reality. And hopefully this will now see us back to, get back to reality. Another sign here, it's like women are women, men are men. You can't change sex with the stroke of a pen. Okay, yeah. Hannah Ford, an employment lawyer, said that while the judgment will provide clarity on the controversial issues in the UK, it would be a setback for transgender rights, and there would be an uphill battle to ensure workplaces are welcoming places for trans people. There's always going to be someone. Something also to let me get, because from our old friend J.K. Rowling. We got issues with her regarding the current casting of the Harry Potter thing, but let's see. Winners in the UK Supreme Court today: women and girls, including trans-identified women, continue to benefit from maternity rights, etc. Gay people, freedom of speech, freedom of association, those at risk of discrimination for a belief in the material reality of sex. And let's see. For some reason, it's not showing a second one. Hold on, let's. There we are. The fact that so many UK trans activists are shrieking about their injustice says it all. You never had the rights you claim you've now lost. You had demands. Your sense of entitlement grew unchecked because cowards and idiots bowed down to your campaign of intimidation. No longer. And my thing, maybe drop this now. The obsession has been scary thing. And it's like, no, the war is not over. It won't end until this toxic ideology is destroyed once and for all. So it's a big win, but it ain't over yet, guys. We still got a lot of cleaning up to do. And yes, that is Daniel Radcliffe. Yeah. Okay. Here's one. Here's the An army of professors forced to silence by a minority of students and administrators completely captured by the trans ideology are also winners today. Even if we kept our jobs, our curricula was changed, bias reports had to be weathered, and our Twitter accounts became anonymous. So it's like that's Oh, and here's one that plays in it. Men also won today. We are XY and are a defined sex. There are no trans men. Elliot Page is not a man. It works both ways. Men deserve their own spaces as well. Okay? Yeah, Ellen. Momentary last of sanity. Hold on. But this insanity has gone on too far. It shouldn't have gotten this far in the first place. But it starts to, well, it's not affecting you, and just keep progressively further and further, and pretty soon, you got ostensibly straight men, but with a perversion of some kind. They're kink out in public. They want to, be treated like dogs. They want to walk around naked with, their junk painted all kinds of weird colors. But it's not affecting you. It's like you're marching in front of my 5-year-old kid. It damn well does affect you. It's like, no, it's like, and that has to get to this point to finally get a slap back on her. And the fact is, this is, just getting idiotic. Wow, 27. Okay. Then it took a Supreme Court ruling to say what that kid in kindergarten cup said. Boys have a penis and girls have a vagina. And in a court ruling to make that official. The world is slowly starting to regain its damn mind. But again, we've still got a ways to go to clean up the mess. And last I checked, Indy, she's got, let's see. I'm not going to show this, of course, but not that I could anyway. But 7 people and only less than $60 raised. So these private streams are really not bringing in any money for her because nobody wants to see this shit. Really, generally, they want to pay for it. And certainly, she's got, she has a way of, jumping on some of these trends and attempt to try and make it. It's done it all through her online career. Okay, picking a fight with Belle Delphine. Hey, a feud does a wonderful thing. That didn't really do much for her. Trying to be kind of edgy and cardboard, but she done ranting the N-word over and over and over again. Like one thing, hey, black guys can do it. Why can't you? It's like, because you're not black. Okay, because we just don't do that. We don't have enough stuff under the skin to do that sort of thing. And it's argued that they shouldn't be doing it either, but we really can't. Okay, and that got her banned from it got her banned from one of the adult. I think it was either My Free Games or something. But it also got one of her Twitter accounts nuked because she tried picking a fight with a black content creator. It's like, shut this bitch down. And that's kind of where a lot of people are thinking that this is all a big grift on her part anyway. I don't think. I think she is serious because she is seriously disturbed. Okay, she's got issues. She's admitted to them. I rather the laundry list of like borderline personality disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, complex, and I think there's probably some level of autism in there too. Because something that's brought, it came up in one thing. It's like how the female autistic brain functions a lot like a typical male brain, and that's part where she's like, "Oh, see, I got to admit, no, you don't. You got a few similarities in function because of this, but that's still a female brain. I've shown the way your brain operates, Indy. You do not have a male brain." Men don't think like that. Okay? You are trying to avoid your trauma. And this is not a shortcut. It's just going to produce more, especially if you go any further than you have. I'm cautiously optimistic that she won't, but that only goes so far. That and a cup of coffee, you know. That and the $2 to buy a lousy cup of coffee. So, but yeah, it's starting to, finally, the world is slowly healing, but it's a big world and there's a lot of hurt. So maybe backing away from the edge, but it's very slow. So I threw out some invites, hoping somebody would show up and chime in. But another thing. Here's something. Just a few days ago that cropped up. In Edinburgh, midwifery students are being taught how to help men give birth in a textbook that experts say is rife with anatomical fiction. Edinburgh Napier University told students that they may be caring for a birthing person who has male genitalia and a prostate gland. In an effort to support transgender people, a module told students you may be caring for a pregnant or birthing person who is transitioning from male to female and may still have external male genitalia. How the hell are you going to deliver a baby? From a person that has no fucking uterus. Who the hell has wrote this? Take this person and flog him. Our response: next students will be discussing the proper care and feeding of your hippogriff. No, and our was like, can I sign up for that timeline instead? Let's see. And this part, 1 part pulped rat to 2 parts frog, 1 dash nicely routed carrion, plenty bile to break it down, spoon it in the beak with any handy implement. Just don't forget to wear gauntlets. Easy peasy. Okay. Let's see. Meanwhile, our sponsor is like, the war's not over. It's taken off. I didn't post it more than, let's see, 217. No, it's an hour ago. It's already got 24 likes. So let's get out of that before I expose something I don't want to. Like I said, we got a lot of cleanup to go, kids. But part of it, I think, though, is like we have let these nut jobs infiltrate and eventually take over the highest levels of academia and government to where it's, but these are the experts. The experts are clearly fucking insane. And people, and there's a quote, it's been attributed to Leonardo da Vinci, but I also saw it attributed to some Spanish general of about the same period, but talking about how most people in this world are suited for no higher purpose than to convert food into shit. They're just dumb. Or like, in Men in Black, Tommy Lee Jones talking about how, like, people are smart. No, a person is smart. People are dumb, panicky sheep, and and they will panic, and you know damn well they will panic and everything, stuff like that. So, like, this is just idiotic that it's gotten this far. And the thing is, these people are too dumb to really. They keep doubling down. No, we're gonna fight back. Really, you've lost the plot. Nobody trusts the media anymore. Nobody trusts these fucking experts anymore because you've been peddling obvious lies, and we've had it. You've worn out the benefit of the doubt. The second you started involving kids in it, that's it. War on. I think as long as it was grown adults doing their thing, Again, the old thing, as long as you're not doing the street and scaring the kids and the horses, nobody give a shit. But you put it in the street, and they started wagging a dick in front of kids and started teaching them how to do, why is he 9-year-olds doing the walk down the catwalk and people throwing money at them? What the hell are you doing? Thing is, they also part of the thing is really the whole trans thing was starting to die, as a trend, it was starting to die off on the adults thing. It really was down to just the ones who truly are that disturbed, like who do need this kind of care in order to keep from ripping their own heads off. People have gotten that far, this is the only way to keep from, without driving themselves totally batshit crazy, taking an axe to somebody. People like Buck Angel, Marcus D, Kate, and a few others, And you had to jump through a bunch of hoops to get to that point. Someone had, your evaluations at the wazoo before and the thing is, some people, I think Dr. Phil has been a case where he recommended to this person need surgery. And even someone with all of the psychological things like stuff, no surgery. Live how you want to live, dress how you want to dress, whatever, but they're not doing surgery. That's a bridge too far for you. It's case by case basis thing. The second they turn it into self-diagnosis, affirmation only, the doctors cannot say shit about what if you are or not. It's like no. And the doctors who knew better are forced to shut the hell up or lose their licenses, be driven out of the business. And that's when it really started going off the rails. And that does also bring us back to Indy, where she self-diagnosed. She woke up one day, said, "I'm a boy." The second that happened, she told the therapist, "Yep, okay, yeah, that's it. Doesn't matter if they knew better." This team of therapists has been working on it for about 10 years, which should be a hint they're maybe not that good at therapists if they're doing 10 years and he's still not there. I think it's time to find new therapists, Indy. But the fact they're going along with this crap, man, I will reference my, hell, I could call it up. But my little thing about where Kermit here is talking to Indy's therapists, as I saw them. And I was like, broken down into just the general stereotypes of what I think we're dealing with here. The one true believer, Harriet. This trans, he's trans, you decide he's trans. Fuck you, bitch. And then we got, I don't know. I'm blanking on the names. The one guy is like, no, I'm riding this gravy train for a while there. But, the other guy, I don't want to lose my job. And the other guy said, whatever, dude, It's like, you got a lot of therapists, I think, in there who are trying to do the right thing, but you get just enough. And especially once HHS, the 28th is when that report's supposed to come out. It is the 16th, so another 12 days. And we'll hopefully finally drive a stake into the heart of this thing when HHS comes out with a report and say, no, WPATH is full of shit. Always has been. There is no evidence, backing this up at all. And there's a ton of evidence shooting it down, saying that actually makes things worse because you're not addressing the issues. You're papering over by a little, thing. Oh yeah, you're trans. And let them dive deeper and deeper into the delusion, which is not good. It is not kind. It makes things worse. And again, for those, this is why I keep harping on this. I want to be that one voice in these lives. Say, no, you're not. Stop it. Back away from the goddamn cliff before you kill yourself. Not saying she's going to, I'm saying, but just start wrecking her health. Now, again, there are reasons to be cautiously optimistic on this whole thing, even with their taking tea on thing. But I don't want to go into because I don't want to start pushing things, further than as a react. Oh yeah, watch this. And I'm thinking maybe her doctors aren't totally insane either, because the way that's like that doesn't match up with the standard trans thing. And I think it's like they're trying to address the actual medical issues going on there, which have nothing to do with being trans. Has more to do with the constant that one. Yeah, this is no. I have 53 viewers here. Indy has 7. Okay. Now, granted, they paid $10 a piece, but it's like, what the hell are they getting? Yeah. And again, the scroll down below here, guys. You know, I need help. Okay, I need this channel a going thing. And links down below in the descriptions if you want something more long term, or in case the PayPal link, direct. But this whole ideology needs to be, just it's gone beyond just a medical scam. We've had those before. All of medicine is filled. Occasionally, somebody pulling something from the snake oil salesman or the one. Lobotomies were all the rage back in the 20s and 30s. Oh yeah, we just take you, go back home and scramble a little part of your brain, and you're all fine. And again, there's like a very teeny tiny piece of a percentage of people that actually helped. The vast majority, though, it was butchery, because they just couldn't deal with the fact that like in that Kennedy daughter, it's like, oh, just a few years later, there were medication to deal with, because she was probably bipolar or somewhere or something. But apparently, she was very intelligent, bright, but then they did that and just zombie. And they founded the Special Olympics in her memory, you barbaric bastards. Yeah. They lobotomize your daughter, and then start up a charity in her honor. Fuck you. Okay. But it's like, what the hell? Yeah. We have to go to the and give it time. It'll get to the U.S. Supreme Court and they're the same sort of thing. No, it's over with. Okay. You want to wear a dress? Fine, wear a dress. You're not going to the women's room. You're not going to the women's locker room. You're sure as hell not competing in women's sport. The billiards championship, women's division billiards championship in England. 2 trans women, 2 guys. There were no women in the final of that one. That should say it all right there. I think it was the same thing in that Olympic boxing. It was 2 trans, little shits. We're just beating the shit. I would say made the best man win in that case, but it's like neither one of them, frankly, were worth the shit. It's like, just because the stuff hasn't dropped doesn't mean it's not there. It doesn't mean that's still on an XY chromosome, you lying sack of shit. Okay, give back that metal. It needs to be stripped of it. Yeah. And also the silver medal. Yeah, take those medals out, give them to women who are in that. Move it down. Leah Thomas, I think that was the big thing. And same thing with this fencer. It's like, fencing. No, reach. Again, there's certain immutable facets of male anatomy that mega doses of estrogen cannot undo. You may not be as strong as you were, but you're still going to be stronger than the typical woman. That muscle mass, the muscle density is not going to change a whole hell of a lot. Your lung capacity is still going to be bigger. Your heart's still going to be bigger. It's not going to undo, because estrogen is really is more of a passive, hormone. Testosterone is very aggressive. It will try and rewrite things, and very bad results, because the stuff that's it will start trying to rewrite your skeletal structure badly. Elle Palmer, she still got the extra muscle mass from when she was on it for a while, but it's about she's still having but she still got problems with the body hair, having to shave. The voice is destroyed because if I were to go on estrogen big time, yeah, the beard would probably go, and I probably have double D's by the end of the month. But if I were to go off it, most part, it would go away. For the most part, I have a problem with the tit still. But the beard would come back, and I'd be right back to where I was for the most part. When I'm going to testosterone, no, those changes are permanent. There's no walking that shit back. That beard switch gets thrown, it's thrown. You'll be dealing with that shit for the rest of your damn life. The voice gets changed. That is permanently mangling and destroying the vocal cord, the voice box. It's making it, forcing it to swell beyond its capacity there. And joints and they are trying to be, they're not designed for it. There's just constant pain. And of course, when it attacks the genitals. Because estrogen is actually a major component of the uterus and vagina, and testosterone just rampaging, and that's where you have a vaginal and uterine atrophy. And it'll make the worst menstrual cramp feel like a walk in the park. Because in quite simple terms, it is killing those organs, making them trying to shrivel up and die. And let's just say if we used it on prisoners, it'd be a violation of the Geneva Convention, 6 ways from Tuesday. So there's people that are sloughing up. I remember when they were still able to do things to me. People shoot about, oh, you're so stupid. He thinks testosterone and steroids the same thing. They are, you morons. It is exactly what that is. Exactly what testosterone, what steroids are. Synthetic testosterone. I even went online, pulled up the definition from the DEA, put it up there. Bingo. Shut that line up really quick. It also showed me the intelligence or the lack thereof of the people I was dealing with. People on this side are fucking morons. They don't know science. They're denying science. Denying physical fucking reality. She's a man because she says she is. Oh yeah, tell that to those tits and ass. And the fact he's still gonna be 5'4". I would guess her weight about 120 now because she has, she's put on some since she, said she was like 100 pounds. And, she was skinny as a rail back then. Still deal with it, effects of anorexia, I think. But it's like, and that's another thing, when she started talking, she was never going, adamant. Even more so, back, Thanksgiving, which is things I'm never doing. Not the look I'm going for. It wouldn't, she'd know it would not do anything for her. And then after the New Year, so you started talking about it, and actually got recommended a clinic by one of her therapists that work with trans people. And there's a case of her anxiety saving her ass because the place is so skeevy. And she couldn't have her boyfriend there with her. She had to go in alone, and she just freaked out and left. I think that's a case of her anxieties and the whole thing of needles and doctors saved her fucking ass. And finally, it got out of there. It's like, so like I said, when this thing finally implodes, or even she cannot deny reality, it's like, no, it's over with. What's going to do it, I think, it's certainly not my Randy. She's tuned me out as much as she can, although I know she still sees this stuff eventually. She's not going to do it now because she's busy doing her live stream. But once hey, he's talking about you. Yeah, shit, I'm talking about you. That's the thing, that court order, it's like, didn't say anything about not being able to talk about her. I just can't talk to her directly. I can't tag her in this. I can't email it to her. How she sees this is up to her, and it's on her. And I still have not been served that order, by the way. I'm going by what the judge said. And that's all I had to go by. And that order expires August 23rd of this year. I was supposed to have been served that order within about a week of when ordered back last year, around the end of August, early September. So we're just about 4 months away from it. So what's the freaking point now? But it's like, really, this is gone. What's going to turn it, I think, for Indy, when one of her therapists, once they're freed from these idiotic protocols where there's affirmation only, once they're free to say something, and one can say, no, I don't think you are, because you don't have the this, and this, you're still doing this activity, which transsexual people with gender dysphoria would not be able to even think about doing. You're doing them. So that right there eliminates you from the list of being actual transsexual. It's these other issues that you are not dealing with. And this one thing, this whatever trauma was when you were real little, that you have yet to actually deal with. That's when it all comes back to, what happened to her at 14. And 6 weeks from Tuesday, deal with that. But she's alluded to, she barely remembers it herself. So I'm thinking it probably happened like she was like 2, maybe 3. I'm thinking 2 because 3-year-olds I can remember when I was 3. Going back, I think it's something, but I know stuff happened when I was 2. I found a picture of Batman I drew when I must have been like 2. I don't remember drawing it. It wasn't like the style of drawing I was doing at the time, or even just a few years later. That's like when I was up about 6th grade, I drew characters like looked like South Park, literally. Round head, big, exactly the same kind of style. But this one was really not like anything. Okay. But I knew it had to be me because it wasn't my dad's style of drawing. It was like, okay. I don't know when I found a picture of my dad's desk. I don't know what happened. I don't know if I kept it or what. If it turns up one day, I'll show it. But it's like, okay, well, wow. So I can literally say I was a Batman fan for longer than I remember. That's kind of, that Batman paint by numbers. I literally spent the past 50 years trying to track another one down because my dad had one. He started it, never finished it. And then what happened? The only thing is my mom threw it out. By the same time, she threw out a bunch of my comics that I had finally organized in a box, and the box goes bye-bye. She pleaded ignorance, but no, that didn't just walk off on its own. Okay, we hadn't moved yet. It was still in the same house, but I'm gone. And there were some issues in there I think that might be worth a few bucks too. So, all right. But I think that's what it's going to finally take. Is when one of the therapists finally, is able to speak freely and say, "No, Indy, you're not. Let's come back to reality now. Let's get away from the trans legend, deal with what is actually going on, and stop trying to avoid reality. Let's get to what's really going on here." Because the one thing where there's a big long Tumblr poster where she went, like something happened when she barely remembered herself, but also tried to blow it off as not that traumatic. After, oh, the hell, it wasn't. I think it's something I took away from the Kevin Smith's video. Did that trauma is trauma. There is no equivocation. It doesn't have, well, that's big trauma. Trauma is trauma. It doesn't matter if you're bitten by a cat or attacked by a water buffalo. It's traumatic, especially that young. Everything is traumatic. Someone pops a balloon, it's lifelong trauma because you haven't dealt until you've dealt with it. And Indy, you're clearly not dealing with it. I understand that where she's done all the different therapies, different things she's gone through, and she can't even bring herself to even talk about it. You got to figure out some way to deal with this thing, or you're not going to get better. I'm not saying talk to me about it, although if you want to, I'll do what I can. But I'm saying, what is really coming is like it's not really new dialectical behavior therapy. It's been coming on fairly lately, as in dealing with borderline personalities and other things like that. It's very intensive. There will be no backing off from it. Okay, you will deal with it, or you will deal with it. There's no option. That's like, Indy, the reason you feel better and in control is because you're in control of a fantasy that you call all the shots in. But it is a fantasy. It's nothing there, and it's going to implode rather quickly. There's been a case or two in Washington State that has gone against the thing. So that, yeah, you're not immune there either. As left-wing Looney Tunes as Washington State is, it's going to reach out to you too there. Okay. I mean, they already got the rulings, you know, for government purposes. There are only two genders. It's the one you're born with. So that male driver's license, you better just put it in a frame, because you have real fun trying to renew it or something, or renewing your passport. Because they're going to say, no, they'll take one look at you. That ain't right. And I took a picture of her, through his facial, you know, recognition, came back 27 female. It was only off by 2 years on your age. Otherwise, yeah. But anyway, this is just, you know, many talking about just how the tide is turning, and it's everything. The fact that they keep changing the definition of trans should be a big dead giveaway too. That now it's like, before they identified as something, now you don't have to do a goddamn thing to call yourself trans. You don't even have to take on an identity or even say a thing. You don't have to tell anybody. You don't have to dress different. You don't have to tell anybody. You have to play a name or go on test or what. You just be trans. And cut a difference which makes no difference is no difference. Okay, so it's like, what are you actually accomplishing here? I'm trans. Have you identified as a different whatever? Like, you know, and they can't even, you know, identify what they're doing. It's like, you're just claiming to be trans for the sake of claiming to be trans. Like, it's just total, you know, feeding on the narcissistic nonsense of, oh, I am what I am. Well, what are you? I don't know. Because there's also the whole thing of, you know, the very phrase "I identify as" is another way of saying I'm pretending to be this, you know. I might as well, you know, I identify as a starship captain. That's about the same difference it makes. I identify as a chihuahua, you know. In fact, I guess state something like that out loud and say I identify as that. That means you ain't it. I don't identify as a guy. I am a guy. Okay? Get this somewhere. Backwards a little out of danger. So this is getting a little. I'll say right now, this is the largest audience I've ever had. So thanks a lot. I appreciate you showing up. It'd be nice if somebody chimed in and said something. If you, unless it's all on Twitter, which come on over to the YouTube link so you can say something and yell at me. But I'm not sure where else to go on this one. So just maintain. I don't care what Indy's doing over on that live stream right now. She's a female. She'll always be a female. And again, doesn't matter what the state of Washington says. We respect their pronouns. Yeah. Well, I respect reality and science, and you know. Yeah, just a matter of time. It's all going to implode. At which point, it's going to be real fun around her household. So when it finally crashes in on her, and it's like one psychotic break too many, and it's like, that's it. Again, I don't want to just monologue all day, so unless somebody's got some comments, I'm going to go and wrap this up here because it's about, you know, about 40 minutes. Nice round number. So we will talk at you later then.
A sound soul dwells within a sound mind and a sound body.